I'm tired. Tired of just not living my life and just simply doing the things that bring me joy and bring me pleasure and that gives me an outlet. And this is one of those things where, setting up my camera, setting up my light, sitting down in front of the camera, it brings me joy. It brings me some sort of joy. I'm sure if you found this video, you are somebody who's lost, just searching, and you're tired of like being desperate, and you just like want to live again. You just want to find some sort of like spark inside of you again, just to live and not take life so seriously, but for it to just happen. One thing I am learning is you really just have to let go. You have to tap into a childlike mindset again. If you want to live life and you want to live life worry-free and stress-free, you have to tap into that childlike element. You have to tap into it. And excuse me if I sound a little sick. I am getting over something. But yeah, I wanted to just come on here because I miss this atmosphere, and I'm tired of like wanting to do this for a particular outcome. Like, if money was not a thing, I guarantee like I would still tap into this creative space and I would still just do it because it's fun for me and it brings me pleasure and it brings me joy, and I have things that I want to say and things that I hope people can find and hear and listen to or seek some sort of like help for or relatability to. It doesn't necessarily have to have an outcome. That's if money didn't even exist, I would still want to do this. So I want to make sure I'm tapping back into that realm and that creative space and just that energy, because I don't want to continue like in this grind mode of life and look back and be like, dang, I wish I would have just lived more and just done the things that I wanted to do. So here I am. Okay, so I have like all these topics that I want to talk about. I have a list of topics that I want to talk about that are on my phone or in my planner or on a notebook, and I'm just ready to just start talking about it because, like, again, this just brings me happiness and joy, and if nothing comes from it, then hey, nothing comes from it. If it's 5 people that watch it, it's 5 people that watch it. I like to do this. Do I hope something comes from it? Yeah, of course, but like I'm just letting that go. I am basically here to remind you that you are powerful. You have so much power naturally installed in you. You are from source. You are an extension of source, of God. Whatever you believe in, universe, Allah, Jesus, God, a higher power, you are an extension of that. You would not be here without that source. The other day, I had this realization that I literally manifest everything I fixate on and think about, and it's attached to some sort of feeling. So the other day I was doing auditions. So I'm also an actress. So the other day I was doing auditions, and I had 3 auditions due in like the same day, and I'm reading through all these auditions. I'm like, these are all sci-fi. That's pretty cool. Rewind to maybe like 2 weeks prior, I had been journaling and meditating on trying to manifest more like sci-fi type of roles. I was trying to think about roles I could see myself in, roles I wanted to play, roles that were like fun for me, and sci-fi is one of those genres I really want to play in as an actress. I thought of it, put it out there, put it in my journal, and I was like, that'd be cool, that'd be really fun. And I literally just, like I'm thinking about it, but I'm not like obsessing over it. Like, oh, if I could just get this freaking sci-fi role, like, ugh. Fast forward to when I get these auditions, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all sci-fi auditions. I just manifested these auditions. Now, I want to say, I may or may not book these films. I may or may not book any of these roles. But the simple fact that I am channeling exactly what I am asking for and exactly what I am thinking about is freaking crazy, and that it is coming to me by simply channeling that, I know for a fact at some point someday I am going to literally be physically experiencing a role that I dreamed of that is sci-fi. I know that for a fact. So you know what? I've already put it out there. I've already put it out there and it already exists. So the simple power of thought is that in itself. Just by me thinking it. Just by me thinking it. And I did also speak it, but the power of thought alone, things will come into your life. Things will naturally just drop into your life if you fixate on it. Whether you even want it or not, things will freaking drop into your life. Things will start coming into your world, and you will be, either you'll notice it or you don't. Some people naturally do this without even realizing that they're manifesting certain things. And if you are trying to achieve certain things in your life, it is important to be very intentional and very aware of what you are thinking about. Because if you are constantly thinking about where you're at, and if where you're at is not where you're wanting to be, you're going to keep manifesting where you're at into your life, more of where you're at. Whether it's always chaos or bad relationships or horrible friendships or more jobs that don't serve you in any kind of way or jobs you don't want to work. If you keep fixating on that and you keep complaining about that, you're going to attract more of that. So instead, and it can be difficult, but with practice, it makes it easier. And then you'll start realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm literally manifesting every little thing I think about. You'll become more aware and conscientious of what you're thinking about and what's happening, what you thought about the other day and how it's here now. It'll just be these little things. You'll be so high on vibration and you'll be so sensitive to your surroundings that you will start to see and know what you're thinking, what you're attracting. And that is when you become so aware of your powers, and that's when it gets pretty fun. Then you can really start to play. Then you can really start to just think about certain things, like intentionally, on purpose. Let it go. Have no like strong desperation towards it. And you'll see in some way, shape, or form, it'll come into fruition. Once you really learn how to tap into this, there's no way you can undo it. You'll know how to apply this practice every single day, and you'll naturally start to do it every single day. You'll naturally start to become more aware of what you're thinking every single day. The next thing is the power of words. So this goes along with your power of thought. The things that you speak, ooh, powerful. So let's say this. As a kid, for example, I was bullied. Maybe you were bullied. Or maybe you just, I don't know, were around certain people or had certain family members that just said certain things to you that you wish they didn't, or maybe they did. It can be positive or negative. So I'll just use bullying as an example. If when you were young, you were told like, oh, you're too skinny, or you're not pretty enough, or you'll never succeed, or you're not good enough. If these things were constantly spoken to you and told to you by family members, peers, or friends, or whoever, and you never got any other sort of validation otherwise that you were good enough and pretty enough, chances are that'll be a belief that has been programmed into you, is that you aren't pretty enough and you aren't good enough. That's how powerful words are. When words are spoken to you or spoken out loud, it puts an energetic force out there. It puts something out there that will bring certain things to you that are in alignment with those words. So if it's something negative or just something mean and cruel or just something that's not very kind or just nice to think about, for example, ugly. If you were told that you were ugly, that's just, and it had some sort of meaning on it, and like you took that as like some sort of insult, if you took that as an insult, and it's in alignment with this like just bad feeling, this like feeling of unworthiness and not valuable, and ugly is attached to that, you will start to attract those things that are on those same vibrations, because that is something that you took to heart. You took that feeling and that word and you let that come into your energetic world. On the flip side, if you are speaking things out to yourself that you aren't pretty, or if you aren't good enough, or that you're bad, or that you need to be better, or that you're lazy, if you are speaking these things about yourself, you're attracting more of that to you. So you need to start getting into a habit of saying good things, good affirmations about yourself in your life. And it could also just be things about your life, like, oh, my life sucks, or I'm so broke. Oh, babe, stop saying that. Just stop saying it. And if you're like, oh, but I really am broke, or like, no, like I'm dead, I can be lazy. Okay, that may be something true about you at the moment, but you don't want to keep attracting more of that to you and into your life. If you want change and you do want better, which chances are you do, in order for that change to happen, it does start with your thoughts, and it does start with the words that you speak. Regardless if you believe it or not at first, you have to stop speaking bad things and negative things and just things that aren't uplifting and high vibrational. You have to stop speaking those things if you want change in your life. The third thing that makes you so powerful, action is power. So thought is power, words are power, action is, oh my gosh, powerful. I don't believe any of these three things are more powerful than the other. However, I do think the most powerful, if I had to choose, would be your thoughts. But the next I would say would be action. I know that just contradicts everything I just said about like there is no order. There really isn't. They all can coexist on the same field with each other, like all being great and equally important as the other. But in order to, take that action, you do have to have some sort of thought to do so. Thought does essentially lead to action. But action is so, so powerful. You can have the thought and you can speak the words, but without the action, things aren't happening. So like I said earlier in this video, when I got 3 sci-fi auditions, I was manifesting like 2 weeks ago that I wanted to play a sci-fi role. Like that would be my dream role, to just play in that genre. Or yeah, that would be my dream genre to play in, like some sort of villain, or not even necessarily a villain, but just to play in that genre. So I had the thought, I spoke the words, I wrote it down, and I did the audition. So I can have the thought and I can speak the words, and it can come to me, the opportunity can come to me, but it's up to me to take the action, to actually do the auditions, to actually live that experience and live that reality that I dream of living. And it's so powerful. It's so powerful because it's literally law that once you take the action and take the steps to whatever dream you have or whatever thing that you wrote down, it's gonna happen. It may not happen on your time, and that I can talk about in another video, like timing, like your timing and God's timing and timing in general. You can't be worried about that. You cannot be worried about that. You just have to focus on, and I didn't even want to say focus. I don't even want to say focus because I feel like the word focus just pulls this weight onto people that if you're not focused, then you need to work harder. And it's like yes but no, because when you're working harder or feel like you have to really work, you get into this mode of desperation. And when you're in a desperate mode, we already know it causes resistance. And it's going to be a lot harder for things to just flow naturally into your life when you are resistant. So it's not necessarily about working harder. It's simply about just doing the action, like just doing it. And letting it be and having fun and enjoying it and not being so I don't want to say focused, but I also don't want to not say focused. You just want to be intentional. How about that? Intentional is a better word. I feel like I left out something that I wanted to say because I got on this rabbit hole. But yes, third, action is just so powerful. It's law that once you actually take the steps, that things will come into your life at the right time when it's supposed to happen for you. Contrary to all these things being power and being the reason why you are powerful is overthinking. It's not power. So if you're in this mode of like, okay, if I just have the thoughts and I write these thoughts down, like, just think about it, and like overdoing it, that is not power. That is resistance, because you're what? Desperate. Over obsessing it's not power. Being in this, just anything where you're just in a desperate mode and it's over, where you're doing too much, that is when you aren't in flow state. I watch a lot of Joe Dispenza videos, Neville Goddard videos, and a lot of other YouTubers where they talk about this kind of stuff, like flow state. Flow state is the state you want to be in when you are manifesting things into your life. And to just put it simply, because they describe it so well, but for me to just put it simply and just to understand what flow state is when you're not forcing anything and you're present and you're here in the moment and you're not worried about anything, but you're simply just present where you are and you're simply in this blissful, joyful, or just content state with whatever it is you may want. You're in that state for it to come to you because you're present. That's basically what flow state is, and you want to make sure you're in that state and you're not overdoing anything. And speaking of being present, like I said, being present and being in the present moment makes life that much more enjoyable. At the beginning of this video, I was explaining how I'm just tired of just overdoing everything and not living my life, not being in the present moment, essentially, and not enjoying things that I would enjoy if money was not a thing. I want to tap back into that. Some of the videos that I've watched are very similar to like how I explained it. Like, you have to kind of tap into this very childlike state. One way to get present and be present is meditation, because meditation kind of forces you to sit down and not be so like antsy to get to the next thing or anxious to get to the next thing. Meditation is literally practicing stillness, and stillness is presence. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here, like I said, to just remind you how powerful you are and how thought, words, and action, how they all go together and how all three of them can be just so powerful. I wanted to remind you, if you are struggling with presence and you're struggling with living and being in this very present state and enjoying life, just remember you're powerful. Remember to tap into that childlike spirit again, and all will be okay. All will be well. My name is Cle'era Nashe, and I hope you found this video useful, helpful, relatable in some sort of way. And yeah, I hope you just use some of these practices and I guess tips that I have put out there to live the life you want to live, and to realize like you don't want to be 10 years down the road looking back like, dang, I still don't have anything, because I was just so worked up and overdoing everything and I wasn't even living in the moment. Life is about living and loving. Alright, peace my friends. I love y'all and I hope you have a great day. Stay tuned for my next videos. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you are not subscribed. Bye. I don't know what that was.